Okay, continue. So, okay. There are 5 elements of the soul. Okay, so listen carefully. One that governs nutrition, one that governs sensation, one that governs imagination, one that governs stimulation, and one that governs conceptualization. Okay, that was number 5. As mentioned previously, so let me read them again, so slowly. There are 5 elements of the soul. One that governs no, nutrition, right? So meaning, right, nutrition. It's like more on, I would say, the lowest level of the soul. One that governs sensation. One that governs imagination, right? So some people have like better imagination than others. One that governs stimulation, one that governs conceptualization. As mentioned previously, previously in this chapter, we are concerned only with the function of these elements within the human soul. For the power that governs human nutrition differs from the power governing the nutrition of the horse or a donkey. For a man, nutrition stems from a nutrient faculty in the human soul, while the donkey, by contrast, derives nutrition from the nutrient faculty from the donkey soul. Similarly, a plant tree and a palm tree derive the nutrition from the nutrient faculty of its own soul. So even though like there is similarity that all of the soul is like all of the souls like on this level between the humans and animals and the plant life, right? They get nutrition, right? So but it's all different because they have these different souls. Okay, so even there's some similarity. They have some like food that they consume, but it's different souls. Okay, but concept is the same. Continue. When the term nutrition is applied to all these various forms, the intent is to employ a general term, although the subject is not in fact the same. Similarly, when the term sensation is used, with regard to the both human being and animal, the intent again is to employ the general term, and not to employ the sensation is the same within the man and with the horse. I mean, so we're going to do this paragraph and then return and try to understand line by line. But general idea, yeah, it's like there are some parallels, but they work differently for humans, for animals, and for plant life, right? Nor the power of sensation of any one species of the same as another's. Rather, every life form that possesses a soul has a unique soul, different from that of every other life form. As a result, each of these types of the soul will have expressions. These are those. There are those who will compare the expression of two different souls and consider them the same. But this is not so. So just because we eat and dog eat does not mean that we have the same like lower type like animal soul. Even though it has the same meaning, right? But they're very, very different. Okay, so we're going to give the illustration later on, but let's try to, or you know what, let's do this example, and then maybe it's going to clarify things, and then we go back. Okay, so it says, to illustrate by means of analogy, there were 3 dark places. Into one light of the sun shone and illuminated it. The second was illuminated by the moon, and the third a candle was lit and shone forth. In all 3 light was found, but one but one the light is caused by the sun, in another by the moon, and the third by the candle. So even some general terms are the same, and about three places we would say, there was light in that place, but the source of the light is totally different and not comparable. So you cannot compare the light of the sun and the light of the candle, right? So the same concept. So now with this example, I think it would be easier to understand what we said before. So I mean, this class, I would say it's a little harder concept, but it's to build up our basis for understanding of Judaism. That's for sure. So without it, it's just some like dry laws, and that's it. Which is not. It has life, and he's the soul of the Judaism. Continue. And not continue, but let's do this paragraph again. So it says, when the term nutrition is applied to all three these various forms, the intent is to employ the general term. So it's only general term, as we said. So as our example is light, right? Although the subject is not in fact the same. So light, but the light, all the three rooms were lit absolutely differently. Similarly, when the term of sensation is used, with regard to the both human being and animal, right, sensation, the intent again is to employ the general term, because we don't have any other words. It's the same word, right, but it's different concepts, general terms, and not to imply that sensation is the same with the man and within the horse, nor the power of sensation of any one of species of the same as another, right? So it's not only between human and animals, but even between the species. They have different nature, the different characters, right? So dolphins and frogs, right? Totally different. Rather, when life that possesses a soul has a unique soul, right? Different form of every and other life form. Okay, so name of the soul is the same, but it's different. As a result, each of these types of the soul will have expressions. So they would express the self differently. There are those who will compare the expression of two different souls and consider that the same, but it is not so. Okay, so it's I would say like primitive people would say, what's the difference? I eat and dog eat. So we have all the nutrition works the same. If it's not. Okay, continue. In analogy, so I'm going to skip the example because the example is, I think it should be clear. So we have three sources of light, three different rooms. So we said, all of the three rooms had light, but they have if you look the result of this light, of the candle, of the moon or the sun, it's totally different results. Even though all of them we say that they had lights inside of them. So continue. In the analogy, the factor that causes human sensation is the human soul. Okay, so we're going back to human now. The factor that causes donkey to feel sensation is the donkey soul. So it's not human soul, donkey soul. And the virtuous sensation stem from the vultures. I'm sorry. And the vulture sensation stem from vulture soul. These are different types of sensations, share no common factor except the term used to describe them. So that's the point that Rabbi is trying to give out, right? So that even between different species, different type of the soul, different type of sensation. This concept is of fundamental importance. Many philosophers have erred regarding this matter, and accordingly have developed strange conceptions and ideas that are in error. So basically, the way I understand, they just summarize, sensation between all of these creatures are the same, which is not. To return to discussion of the elements of the soul, the elements governed nutrition includes the power of ingestion, sorting in the ingestion, storing food, digestion, excretion, growth, reproduction, and the power that distinguishes between the fluids necessary for nutrition and those to be excreted. The description of these 7 powers, in which manner and how they function, with which organs in their functions more distinct and more and obvious, that they are constant activities, that they are and their infrequent activities. This knowledge is necessary for the practice of medicine, but is not of the present concern. So let's try to understand this part, and we go line by line and try to understand what Rambam is saying. To return to discussion of elements of the soul, so the elements governing nutrition. So as we said, the lowest type, one of the lowest of the 5, right? Governing nutrition includes the power of ingestion, right? Storing food. So all of these are the different elements of the nutrition soul. Digestion, excretion, growth, reproduction, right? And the power that distinguishes between them, the fluids necessary for nutrition and those so excreted. So fluids, of course, because all of this, as we learned in our class Hilchos Deos, all of these things, they being absorbed, all this nutrition being absorbed by blood and being like converted into liquids. So you eat piece of meat, but it was actually converted into liquid. So the solid parts goes out, right? But the body extracts the liquid and it and becomes blood, basically. A description of these 7 powers, in which manner and how they function. So these 7 powers, with the organs and their functions, are more distinct and obvious. I mean, so right, the digestion is the excretion. It's totally different things, right? But they're all necessary and they're all part of this nutrition soul. I would say part of functions. I would say functions. What are their constant activities and their infrequent activities? This knowledge is necessary for the practice of the medicine, but not for the present concern. So, of course, as we said, our concern, our topic is the soul of a person.